Poverty, unemployment, violence against women and children are just some of the issues plaguing South African society. Unions and civil society organizations are getting together later this month to discuss ways to resolve these matters. The Working Class Summit will take place at the University of Johannesburg's Soweto campus tomorrow. Rising fuel prices and the VAT increase are also expected to dominate discussions. Will this be yet another talk shop, or will it go some way toward effecting real change in society? I'm Cathy Mohlahlana. This is our nightly look at South Africa under the Ramaphosa administration. You're watching As It Happens. My guest on As It Happens tonight is the president of the General Industrial Workers Union of South Africa, Mametlwe Sebei, and it's one of the unions that's taken part in this Working Class Summit. Let's get straight into it. One of the things that, what are you hoping to achieve out of tomorrow's meeting?
Well, basically we're hoping to, through this summit, to bring together all the activists from all the main theaters of the working class struggle in this country. And by that I mean, activists involved in struggles for service delivery, but also, the youth from universities and those that are struggling around issues of, unemployment, the struggle for jobs in our townships, but also access to education, the activists from the Fees Must Fall movement, as well as, the trade unionists from SAFTU and its affiliate, but also beyond. We've written, a communique to all other federations, inviting them to partake in the summit, because all the issues that we'll be discussing are not SAFTU issues, are the issues facing the great majority of the working class and poor people in this country.
And what have you found has been the response, firstly, from the people you've reached out to from a union perspective?
Unions have, responded, greatly. In actual fact, we had a preparatory meeting about a few weeks ago. It was attended by SAFTU itself and 16, other unions, but also, about 30 to 40 other organizations that were specifically invited just to assist us in terms of the preparation for the summit itself. We have received an interest from over 90 organizations. The list is growing, and these are not just organizations representing communities in Gauteng, but from all corners of the country. And we're confident that this summit will arguably be the most important gathering of the working class in this country since 1924.
And, it comes at a time where we have seen civil society very fragmented, and it almost seems that everybody has been operating not just in silos but committed to their own individual cause that affects why they started their activism to begin with. Do you think that the ground is ripe to try and bring everyone under a collective umbrella? Because of course that also means that there is no individual of taking credit for whatever action you are able to pursue, and even a change you're able to implement ultimately.
Yes, that's the reason that the approach we've taken is that this is not a SAFTU summit, but even in respect of preparations, we've invited many organizations to join us in the planning and preparatory committee. And it is that body that actually is calling the summit along with us. Secondly is that, yes, this summit seeks to overcome the divisions within the working class, because we are almost 10 years into a devastating economic crisis, the solution to which has not been found. If anything, we've seen a horrendous living conditions of our people worsening, either in communities and people losing jobs and all of that. And it was not for the lack of willingness and determination to fight on the part of the working class people in this country. Either is people fighting, for housing, people fighting against job losses, but also resisting an increase in fees and other things. But we have borne the brunt of this economic crisis. The elite in this country has made us to pay the cost of the economic crisis because of the disunity, because we have been fighting in silos without coordination, and we are saying through this summit, let's come together as activists in various arenas of the working class struggle in order to craft a program around which we can unite, we can coordinate our struggle, because the working class united will never be defeated.
Part of what has weakened some civil society movements is that they started with clear intentions, and after some time and winning over public support, they then almost transform themselves to becoming some kind of wanting to contest within the political space. So how do you intend on keeping your intentions pure when a part of those that are going to be amongst you, especially on the part of trade unions, also have interests politically and have affiliations politically, or have those unions that are perhaps within the tripartite alliance not responded?
There's nothing, impure about, the working class aspiring for political power. Political power is very crucial because it is political power that today is being used to tie the hands of the working class while the capital has been attacking. And we are today, for instance, faced with, torrents of legislation coming out of parliament that are stripping the working class of their weapons of the struggle. The labor law amendments is one of those, which would actually restrict our right to strike, to defend our jobs, to defend our conditions of work, where the salaries of the CEO are continuing to skyrocket. Nobody's saying anything about that. What has been the problem, of course, is using, or rather even abusing, the working class support to support programs that in reality are programs of political parties that represent interests hostile to the working class. And we are saying that the question that we are going to have to confront in this summit, amongst others, is how do we, as a working class, begin to defend ourselves against the state that is increasingly attacking us, either through the labor law amendment bill or lowering the value of even the earnings that are already miserable as we are standing. I mean, the issue of VAT increase, the issue of fuel levy increase, the issue of imposition of the sugar tax, all of this represent coordinated attacks to ensure that the working class and the poor of this country bear the full brunt of the economic crisis, which is not of their making, but is a result and the consequence of the policies that this government has pursued since 1994, the policies that have benefited the capitalist class and has ensured that the richer get richer while the majority of our people are languishing in abject poverty.
Let's talk then about intent, because it does sound somewhat that this gathering might not necessarily be, or rather not opposed to, but certainly that the door is open for it becoming whatever is decided on by delegates, and being a political formation is on the cards, if I understand you correctly?
Well, what we are saying is that nothing's off the table. What will be important in this summit is to agree about the program to take forward the struggles of the working class. What form that strategy takes is a matter for discussion in the summit itself. What we are, however, very clear about is that we need to overcome the disunity and the fragmentation in the resistance of the working class, which has weakened our fighting capacity and the movement, and which is a result, is a reason why, in spite of having the highest number of protests by comparison to many countries, in the world, still the working class has lost, in every major theater of struggle. And we are saying it is because of division, because the working class divided has never made any considerable gains. But also we've seen examples where the working class is united. And I think the examples of the marvelous demonstrations of students in the Christmas fall is indicative of what we can achieve when we are united, just as the mine workers have also shown us in 2012. So we are saying, if this were unity within a certain industry, a certain sector, Now we need unity across society, where we can bring each and every theater of the working class struggle, together in a powerful stream of working class resistance against attacks on us, but also a fight, for a decent living conditions, for housing, for jobs, for access to education, for, all the problems that actually we're facing.
And of course, this working class that you speak about, naturally, many would already have pre-existing political affiliations. So should somebody who then comes to the summit be concerned that their presence automatically then is seen as for lack of a better phrase, is seen as a betrayal of their commitment to a particular political party?
Well, I don't see how you can go to a gathering of the people who are going to be discussing the future of the country, with a closed mind about how the gathering can resolve. This is a better way in which the working class can march forward. And I mean, we have our resolutions as SAFTU from our launching Congress, and we are, of course, going to be discussing this very frankly, openly, without, hiding any of those part of the resolution. And we believe that it is for the delegates in the summit themselves to agree or disagree.
Is this an attempt in any way by SAFTU to test the ground on what it would be like should they want to contest elections? I mean, is this part of a process that ultimately is leading there?
Not necessarily. I mean, you don't test, the ground insofar as elections through a summit. That is...
You test opinion, and opinion is important.
Well, opinions, polls are there that have indicated that a support for the Workers' Party, is popular not just within the ranks of, the workers affiliated to SAFTU, but also the workers that, are there in COSATU and all of that have been in support of COSATU breaking from the ANC and all of that. Now, that is not the main purpose of this summit. The purpose of the summit is to discuss the way forward in respect of the struggles on the matters pertinent to the class. And we have said there are issues ranging from issues around, unemployment, issues around, VAT, fuel levy, issues around, jobs, but also, declining, delivery of services in our communities, issues of migrant, gender justice. Every of those issues are going to be the issues on the agenda of the class. Now, how we take forward those particular issues is a subject of discussions, and those discussions will take place in an environment of an open, comradely, and democratic discussions among delegates committed to ensuring that we end, the attacks that until now have been one-sided, with the ruling class attacking and making us to pay for the cost of this crisis without an effective response on the part of the movement.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on to As It Happens. And of course, 93 civil society organizations and 61 unions will be part of that working class summit that kicks off over this weekend at the Soweto campus of the University of Johannesburg. As It Happens continues after this short break.